Chapter 1. God's Purpose and Good Pleasure in Predestination. The first main point of doctrine. I took AP Western Civilization when I was in high school. I've forgotten a lot since then, but I vividly remember the class where we talked about the Reformation. Even though it was a public high school, my teacher found a way to get us talking about Luther and Calvin. In discussing Calvin, we couldn't avoid a heated conversation about predestination. The class uniformly thought the idea of God choosing people for salvation was ghastly. But I remembered my mom telling me that we liked John Calvin. So I felt duty-bound to put in a good word for the Genevan reformer. I raised my hand, and once called upon, explained to my classmates that predestination simply meant that God looked into the future to see who would believe, and then God elected those people for salvation. To my delight, the class seemed quite satisfied with my explanation. To think that God chose those whom he knew would choose him was a much easier pill to swallow. Only years later did I realize that I had magnificently defended Calvinism with Arminianism. The first main point of doctrine in Dort is the longest and the most theologically complicated. But at the heart of the debate is a straightforward question. Did God choose the elect because they would believe, or did God choose the elect so that they might believe? Or to put it another way, is divine election based on foreseen faith, or according to sheer grace and God's free good pleasure? That's what Dort's first point means to answer. 2 quick notes. Before we turn to the canons themselves, I need to make 2 brief introductory remarks. 1, this book is not a biblical defense of the 5 points of Calvinism, nor is it a theological exposition of Reformed soteriology. There are a number of good books that set out to do one or both of those tasks. While I trust this book will also be biblical and theological, see Appendix 4 for all of Dort's scripture proofs, my first goal is to explain the Canons of Dort. Think of this not as a mini-systematic theology or as an exegetical exploration of key salvation texts, but as a brief, accessible commentary on the background and theology of Dort itself. Of course, in explaining Dort, I hope to say something valuable about the theology of the Bible as well, but you can be the judge of that. 2. When referencing or quoting from the canons, I will mention the article as well. Since each of these references will be for the main point of doctrine under consideration, I'll mention the article number only. Besides the article provided in the text of each chapter, the canons also include a section called Rejection of Errors after each main point of doctrine. These rejections can be found in Appendix 1. I will mention these as well, so that Rejection 3 refers to the third rejection for the main point under discussion. There is a concluding section entitled Rejection of False Accusations, included in Appendix 2. Finally, the opinions of the remonstrants can be found in Appendix 3. These will be referenced as Opinions C3 or Opinions A9, and so on. Framing the Debate. Articles 1 through 5. Article 1. God's right to condemn all people. Since all people have sinned in Adam and have come under the sentence of the curse and eternal death, God would have done no one an injustice if it had been his will to leave the entire human race in sin and under the curse, and to condemn them on account of their sin. As the Apostle says, the whole world is liable to the condemnation of God. Romans chapter 3, verse 19. All have sinned and are deprived of the glory of God. Romans chapter 3, verse 23, and the wages of sin is death. Romans chapter 6, verse 23.